Hey all, welcome back to this video tutorial on application development using AngularJS and REST API. So in the last video we spoke about creating the login component and register components, and we had displayed a message saying login successful or invalid username or password, but we do not want to show login successful in case user has entered correct details, right? So we want to go to the next screen, and for that what we'll do is we'll create a home component. So now I'll create another component called as ng generate component and say components slash home. So home component is for displaying the list of videos and all that. So now what I'll do is I'll say go to the home component. So there's my home component, right? And when I add a home component, I will also add a router for it. So let me go to the routing module, and then let me just go to add one more path, which will be home, and component would be home component, correct? So yeah, so let's check whether it works or not. So I'll go to my here and let me just show home component, and there you go, it is working. But here I will show the list of videos and those links and all. So now what I'm going to do is navigate to that home component in case user is authenticated. So for that, very simple. Now what I'll do is I'll go ahead and say login component, and I will inject a router object. So private router is of type router. Router is from angular slash router package. Now that is added, and then when the user is authenticated successfully, I will say this dot router dot navigate, which accepts an array, and slash home. Otherwise it will show invalid username or password. Let's test it. So I'll go to login and say some invalid password. So it is showing invalid username or password, and then if I put the correct details @v.com and say correct password, and there it goes. All right, and then in the home one we also need a two links. And what should happen is uh, these links should not be shown when the user is logged in, correct? So for that what I will do is I'll go to my login component, and in the login component what I will do is once the user is authenticated here, see, yeah, so now I'll say local storage dot put. So local storage dot set item, local storage added in HTML5, and I'm going to say logged in user, and here I'll say user dot email. So I'm storing the email information of logged in user into local storage, and into my app component, into my root component, what I will do is into my root component, let me go to the root component, here I go. I will create a logged in user property is equal to is of type string is equal to empty, or I will say null, and in the on ng init okay, on ng init, if you see that other components they implements on init, ng on it should be, sorry. So I'll just implement that one here, and yeah, I'm going to say ng on init. Ng on it which will be called the moment the component is initialized. So here I will check this dot logged in user is equal to local storage dot get item logged in user. So after authentication, I'm putting that data into local storage, and I will check if while I'm loading that app component whether the data is already present in the local storage or not. If it is, then I'm going to say don't show those links. So there I go. I'll say console.log logged in user. Logged in user. So now, while displaying this row, I will check star ng if is equal to logged in user is not equal to if it is null, then only display. If it is not null, then do not display. If equal to null, if logged in user is null, then display it. If it is not, then do not display, right? So let's check the output. So I'll go to login, and then I'll say a@b.com and my correct password. Say submit. So it's going to the home page, but still these links are shown, these buttons are shown. Now the reason these links are getting shown is because we have added a code into this app component, and this code is not getting executed. Now the reason it is not getting executed because this page is not getting refreshed. So what I will do now is I'll go to my login component, and whenever the moment I navigate, I will write dot then, and I will refresh my page. So I'll refresh the page so that that code will get executed. So for that I'll write a simple uh, JavaScript code. Okay, so added, and now let's see whether it actually removes those links or not. And you see that the links are now gone because the moment the page is loaded, it will check whether the data is present in the local storage or not. If the data is present in the local storage, then it will check whether that data is present there or not. Now, we should also implement the logout functionality. So very quickly, I will go to the home component, and there I will put a button saying logout, and again I will say click event I will capture here is equal to logout function I will invoke from the home component. And there's a home component that I will call, so it is logout, and I already added a router dependency in it, so I'll just say this dot router dot navigate to the home page, right? But again I want to enable those links so that I can click onto the login, and then so I will write then, and again refresh the page again so that that code will get executed, and the buttons will be shown. So now let's check it here. So I'll click on logout, and let's see whether that code is executing or not. There it is. So I think I did not clear it. Okay, so we'll have to also clear it, clear those data. So now if I say local storage dot remove item and logged in user, I will remove from the local storage. So now let's check it out. So now refresh, still the links are not shown. Might be a small mistake here and there. Let me go to the app components, and here I'm using null is equal to null, and here, yeah, it should be null. Okay. I can also write this code: if this dot logged in user is equal to empty, then say logged in user is equal to null, in order to make sure that we have a null value into it. So still it is not showing. Okay, let me just log out again. Yeah, we need to log out so that that data is removed from the local storage. Yeah, now we see that the data is removed from the local storage and we are getting the output. So let me test it one more time. Here the b.com and 1 2 3 4 5, submit. Right, so it is now refreshing, and when it refreshes, the date code gets executed, and there we go. And when I click on logout, and there it is. All right, so here we have implemented the login and logout functionality, and we are displaying the home component after the authentication. The same can be done for the registration also, but we'll just stick to the login functionality, and then we'll display the list of videos, and these videos will play in the player. So that is all we have in this video. In the next video, we'll talk about adding the videos into our screen. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next.